Good morning. Welcome to every platforms. So we're on that investigator news network this morning. It's good to be back. So more than likely we'll run today on the network and then with investigator news too, where most of our viewers are. And so it is now a category 5, which is winds up to um, 150, and I seen 156 this morning, but it was about an hour later that they came 155 and 156 miles an hour. Um, so, uh, oh, there you are. I think I'm slow because I have so much info in my this morning. Oh boy, it's loaded down. And good morning, Karen and Mary. And so they have closed off the Orlando airport as of 10 a.m. this morning. That was right about, you're not going to be able to get very many flights from out of Florida today. The others were closed yesterday. They said even they have closed Disneyland, have ticketing land. They said there is a few rooms left. And that was early this morning. That was about 7 this morning. Otherwise, you work out your tickets or maybe changing your plans altogether. Not a good to be in Orlando. Um, uh, the other thing, let's see. It looks like, well, let me pull my stuff back up. It keeps having to refresh it because it's a live update. Okay, so let me increase this. Oops. I don't have it all set up for this yet, folks. All right. Here we go. So this is the latest. Well, I have to pull this down. There we go. That's let's see, Miami to my cursor. And so it is going, it's almost made landfall, the eye. The eye should happen sometime this afternoon to make landfall. And they said it was down probably about 20 to 30 miles per hour. And they said that going to the other side where we now see the bands are hitting, and they'll start doing hurricane warnings for the east side of the state. Linda is in. So Linda, Linda, I'll tell you what I did earlier. Um, so let me, well, let me see if I can get an update. Here we go.
As Hurricane Ian gets closer to landfall on the west coast of Florida, the powerful storm battered the Keys overnight. The third more than 100 years was recorded and 2 feet above normal tide level in some places. It caused widespread flooding in many homes and buildings. Waist high water was seen in the streets, and gusts were recorded in Key West. Thousands are without power across the island chain and South Florida. That wind threat was in Broward County, where there were multiple reports of tornadoes Tuesday night.
So that gives you get a little bit of how deep the water is getting. They're telling people get out. Ron DeSantis spoke at 8 a.m. this morning, and my sound didn't play. I couldn't get a sound to play on through my show whatsoever. So they're blocking it. But he did have a press conference this morning urging people to please leave. Also, this morning I gave a lot of advice on what to pack, what to do with your pets. So you might go back and get the full update if that's what you're looking for on this morning show. And that was I just ended minutes ago. So I gave a lot of info on there. Um, so much is they changed the beaches on the west side of Florida for probably forever. So I'm going to get on with the news because there's so much that is going on. We found out that Nord Stream 1 and 2 have been it was a type of device that did blow up part of it, and it is now leaking methane into the air. And I know everybody's seen all the pictures for it, and this sabotage, and I think that that's what this is, and it should be the strongest. Then we had um, Bush defense minister said the U.S. blew up the Russian pipeline. A lot of finger pointing today. Believe it's going to be said Putin did it, the US did it, NATO did it, someone else did it, accuse ISIS of it. But he did say that he believes, and this is the Defense Minister Sikorsky, he said he attributes the United States to sabotage of the two pipelines, which carry gas from Russia to Germany. And he said this on Twitter. Poland's Secretary of State Jarwan announced Sikorsky Twitter propaganda, and there's going to be so much of that today, folks. In between in Ukraine and especially, I think Ukraine is going to at Putin, and Putin is going to point the fingers at Ukraine because of the referendum. You guys seen the numbers? Wow. It was 98, 99% that all those to stay Russian. And so they're telling the Russian military to leave. Yeah, now, Alicia, you got a good point there, huh? Boy, we good comments in our chat room. Now, he did hear say that he was going to, well, he didn't say he was going to blow it up. He just said he would eliminate. That's where, you could take it one way or you could take it the other way. But now Putin is going to take it. They're going to do everything he could to eliminate it. And so did Russia do it? I don't think so, because that was a Russian pipeline. Why would Russia blow up its own? That's, I think, where the Poland minister, he was saying maybe it was the U.S. or NATO, because of now Poland said it because of Alicia's comment that he heard Biden say pipeline. Now, and so everybody, they're going to throw popcorn or whatever at me, but I don't think Putin is going to blow up his own pipeline. That's his moneymaker, you know. So you can't say money flows because the money's flowing into Russia, and he's just not going to blow up his own. Who would it be? Now, I would suspect more like Ukraine because of getting even. And then, well, I'm not saying Zelensky. Now, I wouldn't put it past the Azov battalion. Not blowing up pipelines, but they get very vindictive. Even with the nuclear plants, Russia was wanting to protect it. Not only that, but the steel plants. And then they in the area. So An Azov battalion has done this in acts of infrastructure. Nothing like this, though. But they are very vindictive. I think this is what Putin always claims when he says the West. I really do. It's not really blaming Biden per se, but he is blaming the Azov, but Zelensky using them in his military. Um, so Putin, yeah, Putin's not going to blow up, and it's going to be, how long is it going to take to stop it because of the methane? Now, the Biden administration and the Green New people ought to be like their hair must be falling out. It's going into the air, and that's their freaky moment. So they're gonna when they take them out, they're gonna be bald. They're freaking out. So we're going to see more information coming through on what's going on with this pipeline. Since it's yesterday, I would say we all wait a little bit, see who talks and who don't. Anybody responsibility, and we're not gonna news on pointing fingers. I give you a few ideas. Like Putin is going to blow up his own stuff. But, I did read an article this morning that said you do it, ask for it. So, that there's another a possibility. But let's wait and see out of the referendum today and uh, and what kind of comments that he's going to make on it, and also maybe NATO. NATO is basically not sure, is looking at all of the aspects because of so many rumors and so much propaganda. Be careful today listening to the mainstream media because they're going to say Russia. And keep an open mind about who did this. So now, Linda G, I hope you're still in here. At the very end of my show, I showed your puppy online. I did show a picture of your little guy. So I did get a chance to see the puppy, and so did quite a few in this morning's show. Um, Biden approves nationwide EV charging networks. What they're going to do is that they now have to on major roads or highways. They now have stations. Now, not all the states are happy because some of them they just look their freeway way to nowhere for nothing. There's nothing out there. But maybe that's a good reason to put those in there. Now it's releasing 1.5 billion in federal funds. There we go. They're spending folks and 5 billion over 5 years to install or upgrade the chargers along 75,000 coast. The goal having 500,000 EV chargers nationwide. Now, such states as Colorado, California, Florida, Pennsylvania are at least 4 to 5 fast charger ports. They say that you can. They say with more of them out there, the less time in the West, less waiting time for you to get your car charged. Ellie's not getting one though. I'm not getting a car in a buggy. So the goal is 50% of new U.S. by 2030, and hopefully having all of these charging stations in California and Florida and quite a few other states of New Mexico said they don't have they don't have what it takes to maintain all of these, nor the means to do it. And they said that the federal government might have to, which is odd. We don't want them to spend more money, but to be able to put this goal into place, to pay for it. Now, when I seen that, I thought, oh boy, here we go. They're going to do trillions on this. If the federal government were um, to fund it, it's less than if you did it in your own state, because then you're looking at state and local taxes on that and taxes. The feds can work certain things out for a longer period of time than your state would. So that's what Texas is talking about. And Abbott's pretty smart. And he would funding more than the state, because then the state's going to have to come up with that money. So North Korea, we got Kamala Harris over there in South Korea looking at Japan and other places for the chips for the battery, microchips, well, I guess I better pull it up. And when I hear other resources, it means her and her husband are going to buy into things, into probably, or buy into the companies that making these microchips. And that's it. I mean, it was a smart move for her to go over there before everything starts going into effect. And at the same time, behold, North Korea doesn't like 2 missiles. It did go into the ocean. Both of them went into the ocean. But North Korea, the United States, they're not wanted over here, creating chaos where it does not need. And Kim Jong-un, I'm betting his sister had more to do with this. He's been pretty quiet, and she's been pretty boisterous. And they didn't there. Now, what I'm hearing is I don't know if he called her. He said it in, I guess, Korean. At one of the small press conferences he did, and I think he called her a nitwit, is what he was trying to say. It came out as a nit or some of that lines. He thinks she's very stupid. And he has times with speeches. The details suggested that the weapons were tested after Russia's Iskander missiles, which are designed to change. North Korea says this is an arsenal they have been building up since 2019. So North Korea isn't very happy. Oh, so there's Linda, and she said he keeps her busy. He's a cute little fella, beagle. Is he roo or does he bark? Boo, boo. Does he boo? We'll have to find that out from her. All right, so about that spending cost of that Biden wants to do and Senate do with Ukraine. But not only that, but so they've decided on Tuesday that they would allocate $12 billion to aid to Ukraine. And then what got me was they threw in $3 billion for Afghanistan resettlement. And so they remember I tell you they throw stuff in right at the last minute. So this is what they definitely added. It was the 12.3 billion to military aid to Ukraine, 1 billion for low income home energy assistance. Now, LI heap 5 billion in funding for New Mexico. New Mexico. Oh boy, New Mexico. The Hermit Peak calf fire. Now, the lowest is what's in their bill that they slipped in for the Ukraine. That's when they slipped in, and then more into um, um, Ukraine and then Afghanistan. All right, so infrastructure in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm glad that they did that because they are boiling water. A 5-year reauthorization of the FDA user fees, $3 billion the State Department for Afghan resettlement, and the FBI would receive 15. The FBI would receive. No, come on, folks. All right, listen, to throw the popcorn at him, Karen. The FBI would receive 15 Afghan refugees and 33 million to prepare to respond to potential and radiological events in Ukraine. So they not only get the 12.3 billion, but then they get an additional 30. So that's where we're seeing way too much money go that way. Yeah, they do a lot of whining. Mine does whining. And she does whining. All right, so oil prices are about to reverse, folks. Hurt. But Biden did say they were going to reverse and it was going to hurt. Now, week suggesting that all the big banks divest from the Americo of underinvestment of new oil productions. It's not really going to bear any. Actually, J.P. Morgan was one of the bullish that he wrote that in the to expect it to go from, I think it's at like 90 to 101 the end of this year. So they say it's definitely going to go up. From Goldman Sachs, and they say that J.P. Morgan is underestimating it, and it could be in 25 a barrel by January, and a bit more modest about it. And he said, it's at 90. Maybe the Biden administration will see this inflation. Okay. Of $95 a barrel only go up a couple dollars. But the rest of them, USB and quite a few, Bloomberg, the EU, OPEC, all of them said that they're going to fall short. It's going to go up to $125 a barrel. It's at 93 right now. For 5 months, it's going to go up that much. So it's going to be big. It's going to be one of the biggest. I believe we only went up to 110 when we seen this increase up to 5, way more than that. And so, what gets me, folks, is the stock is warning us. I expected the economists to come forward, but I looked around this morning, but it was the big bankers that came forward to warn the American people. And you would think that they don't care about us, but maybe that little piece of ruin. And they said, you know what, you guys better watch out. It's coming. Um, And I was in Zero Hedge this morning. Um, um, there is a kill list for in Ukraine, and this one here, I had to read this a few times. There is a kill list aimed for those who question not only the referendum that happened over there, but also going after um, the Russian oligarchs. Remember, they started dying off. And out of Kiev, they found out um, it basically they have found a kill list. And they said, with some serious, but they said there is car bombings happening. This comes from Eva, my reporter over there, and she said that there are so many names. They said, of Russians that is on this kill list. Also, 341 journalists. Shockingly, there are 327 minors, and they published on a crime site. And so they had to verify that it was actually happening. And they did out that it was. It was uh, basically from out of Kyiv, and it did come from the Ukrainians. Now they're looking for the group responsible for it. So there is a kill. And now, also that was pointed out is they did get a hold of quite a few to find out who would respond. And, out of the silence, the German government, when they were asked, they said the state has a duty to protect its citizens. And the government does condemn the fact that there is this list, but at this point, they said they even have a list of German lists. So there are quite a few. And when they checked with what was going on, they said, yeah, he did have those oligarchs, and there are a bunch of oligarchs on the list. So when they checked into dates, they have not heard anything on any kill list or even the EU. So, um, boy, I was that one shocked me because we knew that the oligarchs were being taken out one by one, but I bet you even Putin didn't even know there was this kill. And the big thing is to shut the media down, and that's what Eva was trying to get a point across. Is on the times that they can rally up and they can keep all the reporters, and it seems like one by one they're coming up missing, and it depends on what affiliate they're with. Now, as I said about this, it came out. Let's see if I thought I had it up next. Oh boy, my allergies are so bad today, folks. I hope I could talk later. Okay, here it is. Um, a lot of so everybody plus Ukraine is saying they don't accept this vote. They said there was out in front of the places, and that they were very intimidating, that they were being now. So I asked Eva about it, and she got pictures that's on page that shows them giving candy to little kids, hugging women, uh, holding babies, like politicians we know would do. And they said no, they're standing there, but they have to have guns in front of the doors. just a standard procedure. Okay, so this is what we have. So in region, 90% of the vote went to wanting to be Russian. Zaporizhzhia, 8% wanted to go to Russia. Donetsk people, and 98% of the vote went to being Russian. And Luhansk people, 98%. If you ask Ukraine, um, they said, oh, it was 98% all the way. They're talking Russia did something to it, to their ballots. It was very secure. Eva watched it. So did some of the other people that I have over there. It's all watching to see if it looked like anything like what we seen here. They said no. Oh boy. And my throat itches so bad. Okay, so so Russia got the vote, and all of it's going to go back, and then they're asking for Ukrainian military to leave, and that get out of at least. They said the quote was, we know the military is going to be tough on leaving, and it will take some time asking you to leave the residential areas and stay, hospitals, schools, and Russians and Ukrainians do live, and which would be the residential areas. There's no set time yet for them to be out. So they did, and then they just basically was Putin is letting these regions talk for themselves. Because remember, they said they wanted to be independent and make the decisions. And so Putin let them say that, just they want them out of the residential areas. Boy, so that worked out. And of course, they're going to be the naysayers that say, oh, no, it was wrong. They had armed guards threatening people. No, that is mainstream media propaganda. It's not happening. Again, and I think that YouTube needs to be in trouble too. And it this morning at PJ News, that you can't say things on. And the thing about it was during the pandemic, they so bad, nothing. We couldn't say none of that. We were coming up with wild ways. You guys know we had to do it here. What it did was it basically 60 life-threatening illnesses. They say like birth defects or different diseases, serious heart problems. Everything was being so stunted that, on the mainstream media, that many people weren't getting the proper medical information or health issues. And it hurt them in the long run because they feel that pandemic, then if they would have just let the conservatives talk about the pandemic. So now the government is looking into this on exactly what they did, but it's only at Facebook. And Facebook, they didn't hit me as hard as YouTube did. YouTube got me on it. Facebook just kept saying, no, 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 we're just not going to. They didn't take me out like YouTube did. So this did. Now they're having to look, and the CDC and the World Health Organization is now realizing that what it is diseases that could have been put out there and seen for people to get in. At the same time, when I read that, I said, now, the thing on that is, all the doctor's offices and the hospitals were all shut down. We were all lining up in the parks. So it wasn't really we were going to get seen, but I could see their point. What if, you're getting measles or something and you didn't know what it was? A lot of people weren't hearing about the measles coming in from the border or smallpox. And there was lots of diseases coming through that border. And we weren't here as one of them. So, and now look, now we have got states with polio problems, and I heard about it through the conservatives and them being able to freely talk, basically stunted. They would have got the information out. So, right on for the CDC and World Health Organization for seeing these were very wrong. Maybe they'll go about it a different way next time. And then that's basically what they said. So, well, I got a lot of news here. Um, DART, do you know DART landed, folks? And NSA said they got all the information right there for you to go and check out. Landing, they have the best videos. So if you want to keep an eye on it, um, NASA would be the best place. That's where I send you to look at all the videos. They have lots of videos of it landing away all the way to the touchdown and information on what it's all about. Phone calls yesterday on it to ask what I thought was going on with DART. Well, I think it's a way that this is something we've been having to look into is the asteroids and meteors possibly so big that it's going to cause a lot of damage. So it did make its impact. Here, no, Nadler's a funny little guy. He said Trump's first was unconstitutional. Jerry Nadler, of all people, he said it's obstructed Congress and abuse of power. Huh. Yeah. When I read the article first, I said, ooh. So I knew that some of my ladies, I said, you know what? What'd she say that he feuded with his colleagues over basically the Trump's rights in early 2020 and really was trying to get them not to do it. That in between Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi, they're the ones that got to uh, pick out the House Select Intelligence Committee chairman, which was ever prepared to handle the impeachment process. And Jerry Nadler went to them on numerous occasions. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. And they did it anyway. But then they put, of course, they gave him at the table. And I think that was just to shut him up for them. And they're saying, and they said that now there's going to be a lot of books coming out on it because Nadler is shutting up. Nadler's coming forward and actually exposing that he lied by Pelosi and Schiff and every Democrat that was involved in the shaman. Wow, is he getting senile? Is that it? He's getting closer, and he did all the bad things he did in his life, maybe. Yeah. So you have people, and I don't like him because of the Clintons. He did the impeachment and defended the Clintons. And so now we hear them going, no, it wasn't right, folks. Inside that first impeachment was done by Adam Schiff. And remember Schiff and his crazy, weird story? Yeah, because he was in charge of it. Step he could do something like that, and then the lies that were told. So, boy, there's little things that come out on these people, the whistleblowers. So Nadler himself, um, and I appreciate it. Um, Joe Manchin asked Schumer to remove permitting reforms from continuing the resolution. Um, I think now, I think Joe Manchin now is really having a lot of regrets. He's basically the politician, and so is Sinema. And he said, indeed got the support of misnamed Inflation Reduction. He says, because it really wasn't. And he said that to remove his proposal from the documents. And he said because it's not making any sense. And the decision to remove the comprehensive from continuing on the resolution. It's unfortunate that the members of the United States are allowing energy insecurity in our nation at risk, he said, which was released to, and sorry, Joe, but welcome to Washington, D.C., he said. And in he said the last several months we've seen firsthand Putin continues to weaponize energy. A failed vote on something as critical as only serves to embolden leaders like Putin who wish to see America fail. And he did say that it was a Schumer that did a lot of the wording, and he is asking reading language from continuing resolution. We will, they said they'll be for it to hit the floor in Senate. So, too late, a little too late. He should have thought about this before he even turned his back on not on the Republicans, folks. He didn't turn his back just on us. He turned his back on the country because there's maybe 50% of us, but there's the other 50% on the other side that if they, and they're seeing what's going on and they see him flip flopping, and that's what he's doing. He's going to flip flop into the conservative side and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make up for it." Well, he does that here. No one ever sees it in the news because no one ever puts it out there. So I don't. I like him as much as I like Bill Barr, and that's not much. I don't like Bill Barr. He worked for the Clintons and the Bush family, and he was known as the cleanup man. And put him in power, and he'd go up and clean up and shred things that didn't need to be there. And Russia, Russia, Russia. So I don't like Bill Barr. There now, Mary, boy, Mary, beer, because you're going to need a beer. Biden admits that they neglected sex offender checks when placing migrant children with sponsors. This is found through the Department of Human Services. The Health and Human Services Inspector General has found that Biden administration failed big time. They failed, he said, and he said failed 3 times, to properly take care of migrant children at processing centers and masks of arrivals at the borders. In some cases, released migrant children to sponsors without proper schooling. And come to find out, quite a few of them were not good homes are not good places and or that were being investigated by authorities of having issues with um, um, child trafficking. And so they found operation challenges within the range of refugee settlement. And the EIS hindered the case management, which raises concerns that related to children's safe and timely release from the ORR care. However, it heightened concern that EIS, which state that the facility run the ability to bring experienced case managers in, or they blocked case managers and with they didn't even train them or give them adequate time to between the status and the updates within some cases. It should have taken weeks that they were minutes go due to distress, anxiety. In some cases, had and felt it was a lower risk just to let the children go to as many homes and did not check, and that now they found out that they have released to unsafe sponsors. Oh boy. So, so yeah, boy, I don't think Mary's gonna like that. I don't like it. So we found out that instead of waiting and doing things the right way for the kids, they went ahead and just hurried it up and they wanted to rush the kids out, pull them in and push them out as quick as possible. And now the IG report is saying that, we, because now they're arresting many. Yeah, there's Mary. Now they're arresting many of these private homes, private organizations, and different places they sent these kids that it ended either abused or neglected or it pushed onward to child trafficking. So, oh yeah. So, Mary, boy, I tell you, that was the news this morning from John Solomon. Dare and Zero Hedge had a big story. Both of them grabbed up the IG report and is saying that many of these, they don't even know where to find them now. They don't even know where to find them. They started getting arrested. So, oh boy. Uh, oh boy. Yeah. Um, this is kind of trivial. I found this morning, and it's like, well, yeah, but they've had 115 maneuvers, China to from to China, and now the United States is looking that this could be a problem. Uh, Um, the thing is these maneuvers. These were all exercises, and we've known about it. And when Taiwan was getting these planes flying very low, uh, they said, "Well, we're not concerned about it because they're used to it. It was us and doing our exercises, and they interfered or they went in a way to in a threatening manner, and." That wasn't right, and we're keeping track of it. And one of the reporters asked, it was with the Pentagon, was, well, how many did Taiwan get? And they said they didn't count. So they're only worried about what was going on with the United States and their exercise. We're there to protect Taiwan, and we didn't even get a count because they're probably thousands. So now they really do want them to, if there's 115, that maybe we need to start keeping track of all excursions. Um, and then New Zealand calls it quits on Ukraine's military. They said they're what they are finding out is very, and that um, they have a New Zealand, which is intelligence, um, says that they can no longer keep up with supplying Ukraine, adding its stockpiles. They said they're not. They have their own country, and just like Australia, protect themselves. And it seems like the United States and the NATO trying to deplete their stockpiles. And they said that at this point, they're not going to give any more aid to Ukraine. And now with the states going to Russia, they feel the need that Ukraine has enough. Unless they fight with the residents in these states, they said that they would definitely wouldn't be joining. They would even back off joining up with NATO. So now we have other countries that are saying no, but we're not. But we're seeing smaller countries saying they just can't deplete their stockpiles, and that is we're depleting. Or I might not have been yesterday. I think I said it to William too. That we can't deplete. Not going to put money into the Defense Department to build up what we're using. Now, we have stunted our military weapons, and we do need to start stockpiling back up. That's where during the Trump administration, he put a lot of money into the Department of Defense, where they were building up all new, getting everything up to date so we could stand a chance against Russia and China. If yeah, they don't care. Yeah, there you go. I think Mary is talking. Oh boy, tonight. I'm really having a hard time, folks, with my throat today. Uh, so honored. Um, um, uh, the IG now has found out through the post office that they don't really anymore to start pushing through the mail in things that we're going to do in November. Can't say that what we're doing in November yet, but you two don't want me to. And they said this is shortcomings of what they're seeing. They have lost quite a bit with the cutbacks that they have, if they don't see an increase. And my deal was, okay, we gave them a whole bunch of money for the last one. What happened to all that money? And is this a way for them to say, well, we'll do it. We'll increase and get member to do the mail-ins if you give us all the money for it again. Article, and they say that not only that, but there isn't for the increase for some of um, the procedures they want them to take. They said that 10 million more pieces of mail go through, and they said it could slow down. They're not going to be able to do it within the 3 months. Measure servants of performance of what they have for the employees to how much mail goes through. And they said even on Christmas that mail gets delayed. And so it isn't not nothing that the United States Postal Service is doing. It's just when there is more mail coming for people. And even during Christmas, and they said even one. where everything just slows down normally, and their policy nothing to change it. Now, the IG examined Philadelphia, Greens, Los Angeles, and Denver, and all of those are non-compliant centers that were critical. And they said, but then not only that, but then they had Ohio and other a high volume, and they still were lacking and still got behind. They said that the mail on time during the primaries was about 97 noted, and they said for November it's probably going to drop to about 90. In between 80 and 90, they're not sure they can get the 3-month period that's called for by the government. Yeah, so they're even failing out on the Democrats. So things aren't going their way, I tell you. Boy, this week I found more things that everybody's turning their backs on them. The U.S. told Putin that this isn't right. It's a risk condition that they want to give Snowden asylum and make him a citizen. He has committed a crime in the United States, and he will return to face judgment, or they're going to risk basically repercussions from the United States. So I guess we threaten Putin on Snowden now too. A woman, and oh boy, here we go. There was a woman that made 7.2 million from human smuggling, mostly children. It's kind of weird, Mary, that this came out when I just had that report come out. Just within hours, this Arizona woman, I'm going to say hours before, when she was smuggling mostly children. Um, and so, that's what I was thinking. That, she made, 7 million. Most of them were children, but then there were men and women that were used for the smuggling also. So she's definitely going to be arrested and charged. And they said that they already, and that they released, they didn't give an amount of how many they released, but they men, women, and bunches of children. So now I want to kind of out to gun owners that are buying guns or buying cases online. This couple was shocked to receive a small armory of M16s. They what they bought was gun storage cases. So these are empty cases. There's no gun. They didn't buy no guns to put in them. They were just empty cases. Well, lo and behold, and they said that after purchasing them and they received them, they were full of guns. Guns with tags on them of being authentic, that they purchased them. So is that they reported to the authorities and to Bureau of Alcohol Arms and Explosives, and they arrived and they took control of the cases, and they did a search of facilities, and basically they believe that these are weapons that were shipped in containers, and that for some reason it's up with whoever really was supposed to get them, or one FBI even told the couple, "I was trying to set you up. Beware, gun owners, because guns, and they might look at you and search you for it. And if you have a lot of guns, they might just take your guns." I didn't like this story. because that one authority that said, you know what, this could they so be careful when you buy cases. Go to the store and get them. They you know hunting places, they've got them. And you can open it up. You could look and see they're empty. Buying these cases online um, until they stray out, and it's unbelievable to think that the weapons of military grade were put in these shipping containers. And the ATF is partnering with the FBI to investigate where these came from. Being shipped to people in that aren't even military. These are just the public, just hunters. So, um, and little thing over here, Ron DeSantis is basically have 25 linemen ready to power outages as they go out. Um, the Mexican army deploys their military to Acapulco, is basically taking over Acapulco and some of the resorts. Parties are warning those that do have trips to Acapulco to be very careful. If one of their a resort is been taken over by that the violence is intensified in Acapulco all around the city, and that the car that they have full control over it. Um, oh boy. Buy what did we buy? Well, what did Camilla Harris do over there? Now, Japan's role in building resilient supply chains of men from low-cost country, and it would basically cause disruptions to China and their industry. And they said she was basically saying they have a commitment to work on the resilience and to invest in forward-looking innovation in the supply chain, but resource. And according to the White House officials, executives from 13 companies attend, but she did attend the funeral of former Japanese Shinzo Abe, and she is supposed to be meeting with there's Japanese business heads, and they said it's to alleviate shortages, but also she wants to look into um, also and then that was very briefly, according to the reporters, and then eventually she chips and to compete with China's growing sway on the global economy. So now, what about the Russian nuclear threat? They he that Russia hasn't really talked about. And these are they said, he really hasn't talked about it for about since the UN meeting. And then when the press questions him about now that the vote is in today, or that did he know? Did he see this, and that this is why he said what he did? And so the question was, um, when you were at the UN and you said that you're not going to stand, that if the wind blows this way, you'll blow back. And did you come or talk of threats because you knew the election was coming up? And he said yes. The other question was, now that it's in, is the nuclear threat still there? And my reporters was, it will always be there. It was there 10 years ago. It's here today. When anybody threatens his country, his people, that he has a right and a duty to protect his own people. And yes, he would respond back to get uh, that asked many questions. He usually does a lot of speeches. And of course, we're not going to get that out of our. So that is it. We have me and William coming on tonight, unless this it gets really bad. And I don't want to say I want to postpone it. It just depends. But as it goes, me and William will be here with the military report, and Linda and her little dog. So, if you guys want to send your pets or maybe brand new little babies, sometimes not good with kids online, a new house, a new car, a new puppy, new kitten, send it to me. I'll put you online. So, but now it's time to go, and hopefully Ellie gets feeling better by tonight. It is high pollen here today, and it must have really gagged me and got me good. And William, I will get a hold of you in a couple hours, and it looks like it could be this whole Nord Stream infrastructures. I just want to say, folks, war isn't pretty, and they're going to go infrastructures. If you got a prized nuclear plant and it's the only thing you got, or that's what the opposite side goes after. They'll go after your prize, and this is. And I've even threw in ISIS. We just don't know who did it. And I don't like the media to go Putin, because they don't know. Show me the facts and show me the data. But see, they have no facts, no data. They don't know any more than I do. I get the news the same place they get. We all get up at 4 o'clock and we all run and get the same news. And they don't know any more much. So, all right, folks, you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. You'll hopefully see me and William tonight. I'm maybe so. And it depends on my voice. If I got a voice, I'll be right back. And also, things get worse if the storm hits landfall and it goes really tackle. To give you the report on it. Keep an eye on your news, and if you're in these areas. So with that, we will see everyone tonight our time. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tonight. Bye-bye. Bye.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin. And I know it's never gonna end.